Hello. As Mary just said, my name is Hannah, and I'm a graduate of Maranacook High School in Reedfield. And first, I would just like to thank Senator George Mitchell and the staff at the Institute for the opportunity to be here today. It was about 4 years ago that I attended my first Mitchell Institute event, which was the annual welcoming brunch. And I sat with my parents at a table full of students also about to start their first semesters at Colby. Tonight, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I've learned and what adventures I've had between then and now. Then was the first time I met my current roommate, another Mitchell scholar who's sitting back there. And this summer, we lived together in Portland, Maine, both working for nonprofits and supported by Mitchell Fellowships. Now, I'm partway through my senior year at Colby, thinking about graduating. I've learned a lot about college, how much I truly love being a Mainer, and how to grab all of the opportunities that the Mitchell Institute has to offer. I'm going to start by telling you about a moment at the end of my semester abroad in Senegal, when I had a lot of time to think over what I have gotten out of college and where I still wish to go. The capital city, Dakar, spilled out over the sunset horizon and appeared to fold into the waiting waves of the Atlantic. Men dressed in colorful robes crossed the decaying stone courtyard, climbing up the last few stairs to the mosque that was sculpted into the cliffs of the island. It was past dusk, and the prayers had already started. Sitting with my notebook on the stone wall at the edge of the sea had been my routine for almost a month now. And while I watched the sky turn brilliant pollution-induced shades of neon pinks and greens, I'd often realized that I hadn't spoken English all day, and that greeting the passing men in Wolof was a reflex. I realized how far a girl from Maine can really travel. Growing up in Maine, going to school in Maine, and working in Maine doesn't mean I have been confined to an insular Maine experience. I have found from adventures like those I had in Senegal that staying close to home and exploring the world are not mutually exclusive plans. When I chose to go to school in Waterville, actually the city where I was born, I found out very quickly that it is extremely important to be a proud Maine student at school. Mainers at Colby, as both professors and local high school teachers have been quick to point out, have a unique experience and perspective compared to other Colby students. It's assumed somehow that you work hard and you know where you come from. I've heard professors say that they love having Maine students in class, and whenever I find out a classmate is from Maine, I'm somehow immediately more apt to connect with them. At school, I've learned to be a proud Mainer. Now a senior at Colby, I believe I have turned college into everything that I want it to be. I have found a major, anthropology, that constantly invigorates me, one that I'm passionate and also really nerdy about. Anthropology is something I had never heard about before college, maybe because of my small town roots. But anthropology, the study of culture and history and memory across the globe, is something I discovered right in my backyard in Waterville. The Mitchell Institute has enabled me to bring my love of anthropology out of the classroom and into life in ways I never could have imagined 4 years ago. After receiving a Mitchell Fellowship this past summer, I was able to intern for Maine Catholic Charities Refugee and Immigration Services, and consequently, this internship was a wonderful combination of my global social justice and academic passions. Right in Portland, Maine, I met an Afghani woman who spoke to me in Pashto, a teenage veteran of the Eritrean Army, and a Congolese father of 10. I was lucky enough to work with an inspiring international community right in my home state, a perfect combination of the local and the global. At a meeting this fall, Director of Scholarships Jared Cash and board member Kathy Lee, who are both here tonight, and I were able to brainstorm how to make international experiences like this more relevant and available to other scholars, citing both my time in Senegal and my time in Portland as ways that Mainers can be globally interconnected. I was able to even further my connections to the Mitchell Institute, my activism, and my schoolwork when I sat down just a few weeks ago with Director Colleen Quint to talk about how I might incorporate my senior thesis regarding hate crimes and bias prevention education in Maine into a career path that is both socially conscious and academically relevant. As experiences like this summer and my recent meetings with staff members and board members from the Mitchell Institute have shown me, going to college in Maine does not have to be confining. It can be boundary-breaking and mind-opening. I see the Mitchell Institute as an opportunity to take advantage of everything that Maine has to offer. The scope of Senator Mitchell's work is an example of how someone who grows up in Maine and goes to school in Maine can have an impact on Mainers and in the wider world. All of us Mitchell Scholars have the ability to broaden the horizons of the Maine experience and use what we've learned to make positive change, global, local, or both. Local involvement and global vision can both be integral parts of your college experience, and I know these two paradigms have shaped mine. I want to thank Senator George Mitchell and the staff members of the Institute, along with all of you generous donors here tonight, for all that you do to help students like me and like Kimberly accomplish our goals. Thank you.